So maybe Ridley Scott feels like, I'm going back to Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
If he feels like he's spending millions of dollars on these high-tier actors, maybe he doesn't really have to direct them because they should be doing their job.
Right.
Yeah, but what if they make a decision in the way they want to play something,
right?
And it's not right? Like, was it Harvey Keitel that was supposed to be Martin Sheen's role in Apocalypse Now?
Yeah.
Someone was supposed to take Martin Sheen's role in Apocalypse Now, and it just didn't work.
Harvey Korman. I think it was Harvey Korman.
Yeah, Harvey Korman it was. Oh my God.
That's Headley. Headley.
That would be the movie that I'd
Or
pay.
Tim Considine doing the old guy walking into Apocalypse Now.
Tim Conway?
Yeah. I don't know what I said.
Yeah, there is a Tim Considine, though, isn't there? Who's he? There are Considines. I think they're like one of those families where there's 10 of them or something, like the Bottoms. And whatever happened to them?
Oh, Kevin Considine. David. Oh, Carradine. Are you thinking Carradine?
I know the Carradines are there too, but there's a Considine. Yeah. I feel like there's more than one.
So I guess you hire those people, and he hires them knowing what to expect, I suppose. They fit into this part, and maybe part of his process is just, okay, that's where we're going now. I've got my world built. I don't really care. Let's do the story this way.
So do you admire that, Walt?
I like the idea of going with whatever happens. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the same in editing, the whole thing. If you have a really good editor, you could be like, gee, I didn't think it would turn out like this, but that's fine too.
Yeah, I'd like to read more with editors, because they totally can make the movie.
It's the third draft or something that completely change it.
Yeah, and think of the artistry there, right? To be able to imagine what it would look like when you're chopping it all up and putting it together.
Mm-hmm.
And now with the technology, 40 years ago, it was a really tedious, horrible process.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you could have two choices and then you started ruining the negative or something. But now you could have infinite number of choices in seconds. And
yeah.
So that's an interesting way it's developed.
I remember when my brother was doing feature editing, and he said there was some directors that would stand over his shoulder and tell him everything, and then there were some that would just kind of say, do your daily cut, and then I'll look at it. And so he said it just all depends on who you're working with. Some people want to have much more control.
So do I know which movies your brother worked on? Did we ever talk about that before?
I don't know. Probably not. But...
What has he worked on?
Mostly porn.
I mean...
Young stewardesses of...
Nuns on acid.
Welcome to Charbroiled Chats.
There you go. That's perfect.
No, he hasn't done features in a long time because he's been with Pixar for really like 20 years or something now. So
I didn't know that. How interesting.
We mentioned it on a previous podcast, but I guess you weren't listening.
I must not have been because I don't remember that at all. Wow.
When we were talking with Matt Dorsey.
Yeah.
Holy crow. So what features has he done?
Let's see. He worked on The Wanderers.
Oh, okay.
I'm going way back.
Yeah.
I'd have to, I'll have to look it up and get back to you.
Okay. Yeah, I guess he's on IMDb then, right? What's his first name?
Nicholas Smith.
Well, somehow I knew that. I was just going to say Nick. Okay. My brother has a little on-screen thing in Mr. Popper's Penguins.
Really?
He does?
As a penguin?
No, he's a band member. There's this scene in the Guggenheim, I think it is. That's the one that's circular, right? I think it was in the Guggenheim. Popper is talking to this woman he's looking for money from, and the band is playing, and all of a sudden the penguins come sliding down the Guggenheim floor, and my brother's in the band, and I guess because he liked the way that the director liked the way my brother reacted, like he got extra money or something, because he was, an extra, and he was an extra in The Good Shepherd too, but I think they cut him out, so he does more like plays these days. I don't know if it's, he teaches at I think I've mentioned this, he teaches at this private school, St. Anne's in Brooklyn, and Ellen Barkin's kids, Mary Louise Parker's kid, all these famous people's kids. And so Mary Louise Parker's son, I guess, is making a movie, and my brother was working on that because he was his student. And he acted in a scene like with Susan Sarandon, like somehow, this kid got Susan Sarandon because Susan Sarandon must be his mother's friend. So.
Right. They were in playgroup together.
Yeah.
Do you know people who listen to this podcast?
Maybe.
Do you know anyone who actually downloads it? Or...
Well, I think a couple of my friends said they did. Why are you asking?
Like last week, they sent around a thing that said we had 2 downloads of all of them. I know the previous 20. So I just wondered if I know one person who listens routinely.
The problem is I just haven't the past 6 months have not done any promotion. That's the problem.
Yeah, and I haven't really told much of anybody about it either. So.
That's the problem.
Right. Well, when this season hits.
Yeah, I need to. I think once and it's not like physical time or functional time. It's like emotional time. I think once like Luis makes a decision about college and stuff, and we just got the results of my dad's scan, totally clear, blah blah blah.
Good.
Like I think once some of these things settle, I'll just have a little more emotional energy.
Well, I just keep hearing on podcasts that sharing is the big thing. It's word of mouth is the only way you can market, and something like this, of course, it's impossible to market anyway.
Well, there's so many podcasts now.
Yeah,
it's
tons and tons and tons.
Blows my mind how many there are. Yeah.
But they say if you take, whatever the number is now, 2 million or whatever it is, the number of active ones are really small. People do 2 episodes and then they go, well, that was too hard.
Yeah. Isn't it like a certain percentage only lasts 7 episodes or something? I thought you had that fact, Walt.
Yeah, I did at one point.
At some point, yeah. Now you don't know it anymore. So
I don't know it anymore.
I'll make it up.
And we'd have to fact check it if we said it, and that's not going to happen.
It's true.
So I just wanted, this one, I know a guy I went to college with, he listens to everyone, and then he gives me, constructive comments
like faster or flatter. Yeah.
You don't have to do this,
You don't have to do this.
Stop, please.
You don't have to do this.
Yeah. Why do you do this to yourself? Please stop.
Oh my God, that's so funny. So we should think of him as our audience.
Joe. Well, let's say he's in New England. Let's not.
New England. Why, you don't want to give his town? You think someone's going to find him? And
I don't think he wants to be.
Come on, you can't even tell us his town.
He doesn't want to be known as the one person who listens to Charbroiled Chats.
You can't even tell us what town he's in.
Well, it's a small town. It's a very small town in Connecticut.
And there's no other Joes there. It's Stamford, isn't it? Stamford.
No, it's not Stamford. It's a tiny town. I could see if I said it, probably.
Tiny Town? Is he the mayor? Is he the mayor of Tiny Town?
And his staff is made up of brownies.
Now. Why is that a famous movie? The Mayor of Tiny Town. Is that? It's like another one with Munchkins in it.
It's a real movie.
Yeah, The Mayor of Tiny Town.
Oh boy.
Yeah. See, that's a reference no one will get.
And who's in that? Christian Bale
and Adam Driver.
Probably he lost 3 feet to play the lead. He did the whole thing on his knees.
In his shoes.
Oh my God. Oh my God, wearing shoes on his knees.
I just did the snort thing.
Oh.
And when I'm editing, both of you do it all the time.
The snort?
I do.
Yeah, and I just did it too. That's funny.
Yeah, I like to snort.
I was going to say, though, going back to Christian Bale, you can't really be a fan because you haven't seen Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh, I have. What are you talking about?
You have?
Yeah.
Last time we talked about it.
Maybe. I mean, I just saw it probably in the past, I don't know, sometime in the past year.
Because he was nominated for an Oscar for that.
He was good in it.
Where did you guys, what platform is that on? Because I haven't been able to find it.
I don't know what I saw it on.
Do you know?
I'm not sure.
I think it's on Amazon.
Is it? Gosh, I haven't been able to find it.
I think you have to pay for it.
Oh, I gotta pay.
Yeah, you got to pay for it.
The only problem is I hate Matt Damon. I don't know why he is such a big actor.
I've heard other people say that.
He's just like so bland to me, and there's nothing I like about him.
That's another thing that I wonder about every once in a while on this subject of actors. What's the human psychological thing that's going on where we just accept the known actor as a character? Like Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks, you don't care what he does.
Well,
You just buy into.
it's the willing suspension of disbelief.
Yeah. Why does it work with some people, but
Right,
it doesn't
right.
work with Matt Damon?
Oh, I get it.
They always said Spencer Tracy. He could do anything, and he was always Spencer Tracy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you bought it.
Agreed.
Well, I would imagine, this is my theory, it's that something about that actor you just really like and gravitate to, although I don't know why anyone would feel that way about Matt Damon. There's just some people you're like, I don't care what they do, I'll watch them.
That's what I mean. Now, why? What do those people have?
Yeah, I don't know. Charisma, I suppose, in some way, shape, or form, right? Charisma or something is activating your neurons. I have no idea,
And you want to see them rather than somebody you never heard of, even though they might sell it better.
Right.
Well, it's kind of like the whole music thing. When you go to a concert, you want to, you most want to hear the songs the artist can
Right.
play stuff that you don't know, and a lot of times you'll like it, but you really want to hear things. Now I read this book about music, and they did studies that said that, of course your brain, there's the whatever chemicals that make you happy when you're listening to those things, but they found that there's this anticipatory response just before this part comes on that you really like in a song.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that anticipatory response that makes people most happy, that gives people the most pleasure just before.
Right.
So when the DJ says Rockin' Robin's about to come on, and you go, "Oh, I love that song," and that's
Right.
when you're
Well, it's actually while you're listening, right? Like you know that there's one part in many songs where you like when maybe the harmonies come in or like the beat drops or whatever, and just before that, that's when your brain has the most pleasure. Is right
That's
because
really
you're
interesting.
anticipating that. It was very interesting, and then it got too technical for me, and I just gave up on the book. But it was
Right.
interesting.
I mean, that would also explain why I like to listen to music that I know the words to and that are familiar to me, because it just makes me feel happy. Makes sense.
And it's the same with movies. When you know a certain scene that you like
Right.
is coming up.
Right. Why do you watch some movies over and over, and some you
Right.
might have liked it, but you don't go back to it ever
Right.
again?
And why do I hear the line, "We'll cut off your Johnson"? Why have I been hearing that ad nauseum for like 3 months now since Luis watched The Big Lebowski?
Oh,
We'll cut off your Johnson. That, I can't even, like, I hear it every single day in any context.
My favorite line from that is "I took my rug, my area rug. I can't remember it.
It really
Brought the area together. Or,
it really kept the room together or
Right.
something like that. Yeah.
right.
Man.
I should watch that one again. I haven't seen that in years.
Oh my God. Luis, he tends to watch things over and over. So a lot of times I'm, around and, is this your homework, Larry? I don't know, it's such a funny movie. And he was asking about, how do they get such good dialogue? I'm like, well, those guys write their,
Right.
they write their movies too. They're not just directing.
I know, it really
their
is.
stuff is all so good.
I'm not a watcher over.
I'm not usually either.
If it pops up and I like it, I'll sit there.
Oh, yeah, me too.
But I never go back to say, I want to see that again.
I don't really either.
No, I agree.
I used to watch things because, like, sometimes before there were streaming options and stuff, like maybe I'd be at home cleaning or something, and that would be a rarity, but cleaning and like Groundhog Day would come on, so I've seen that 14 times, although I love it. It's like probably my favorite movie, but yeah, Luis, will just watch things over and over and over.
Yeah.
It's really, I don't know why. My brother is the same way. He watches things over and over and over.
And little kids do that.
Yeah.
Little kids.
Yeah, but, like my brother and Luis have kept it up. I don't know why.
Is it because you can now? I mean, so everything is, you could just
Maybe.
rewind everything or watch it again on YouTube or...
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, the only things I will watch over and over would be like Key and Peele or The Kids in the Hall or, comedy.
And it's that anticipatory thing too. You know you like that, and it makes you happy. So
Yeah.
like playing a song over.
Yeah, no,
again.
that's absolutely true, because that's like, I think I've said, all I want to see is stuff that makes me laugh these days, you know? Like the two Key and Peele things that are the funniest are about like 30 seconds long, like maybe a minute long. They're just so good and so funny. Oh my God. And they both have farts in them, which is kind of funny because bleep out my last name. Love a good fart joke. My whole family, I don't know why.
Genetic, or
Maybe.
What'd you say, Wall?
is it genetic, or why would that be?
Is it genetic?
Oh, genetic.
I don't know.
Yeah. My father had a recording. It might have been a 45. I mean, it was an old, vinyl.
Yeah.
And it was called The Farting Contest. And
You're kidding.
it was, I wish I could find it. And one of my brothers must have it.
Look at Grace. She's just so
Just
excited to
talking
learn about this.
Well, that someone else appreciated a good fart.
I need to find it for you, Grace, because it's just my father would cry listening to it like you wouldn't believe.
Oh my God.
Just loved it. So I gotta find it. It's literally. I mean, I think it's from like the 40s.
Wow.
It's fantastic. It was a radio show, I think, and there was a guy who was like calling the contest. Oh, what a lovely belcher! This kind of the whole running dialogue behind these guys making farting noises. It's just great. Let me find it for you.
That was probably an underground record
Yeah.
at that
Right,
time.
right.
That you had to.
It was illegal.
When I was probably 6 or 7, my cousin had Red Fox records,
Oh.
and I guess those were
When he was 6 or 7, or you were?
when I was 6 or 7.
Okay.
And those were
He's dirty.
filthy.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's dirty.
Oh,
and she would play them and laugh, and I'd laugh along with her, but I didn't understand any of it. But I had to do it like go in a room and close the door, and so her
I'm
mother
sure.
wouldn't.
Well, I remember my sister and I, this is one of the times, how, I don't know, can you guys recall like the time in your life where you laughed the hardest? Like I have about 3 instances, right, where I laughed the hardest. And one was my sister and I think maybe I was 10 or 9, and so she would have been 2 years younger. And we sat around the kitchen table. It was in, nighttime. Everyone else was like in bed or somewhere else. And we're sitting around the kitchen table with our hands folded, and we called ourselves, see, it still makes me laugh, called ourselves the Board of Fart. And we would say, now we will take the minutes. Miss Explosion. And she would go, I mean, I still laugh at that. Why? Oh my God.
Wow. Yeah, I can see where Lois really appreciate the fart
yeah,
thing
probably.
more than perhaps we do.
I don't know why it was so funny, but that's one of the instances where I laughed the hardest. Another one was involved the time when my cat bit the penis of my boyfriend while he was sleeping. That was funny.
to you.
That was really funny. To me, I was dying. Oh my God. Holy crow.
Was it cat playing with it or
I
something?
think that was the I think that was the
In its flaccid state? Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe that's what the cat liked. I don't know. Oh my God, it hurt. I laughed so hard. Because the way he reacted was just like,
Right.
Grace! Oh my God.
Like it was your fault?
And then he couldn't even express what had happened. I'm like, what? I thought he was having a heart attack or something.
That's a good one.
Anyway, that was quite funny.
I think I know which one Grace enjoyed more.
I could go on about farts if you like. I could go on.
Run with it, Grace.
And it's not like, well, I'm lying. There are a couple of members of my family who feel free to.
Oh my God. Listen, I grew up with 4 brothers
Oh my
and a father who never not farted. It was constant.
Yeah, like we'd be at home with a friend and my dad be in the kitchen. And you just hear
Right.
this. He just let one rip. And be like, oh my God, Dad.
Yeah, my father always said, better out than in.
Yeah.
I'm crying.
You are.
Why
See it.
is, at this point it must be Pavlovian, like I hear a fart and I laugh.
Takes you back to that time at the dining room table with your
My
sisters. Right?
God.
This would be a good time, Bailey, to say thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
As if you just heard Grace tell a fart joke.
Thanks for listening, Grace.
You know, I don't have any fart jokes. I suppose I better bone up on those.
Thanks for listening. I'm Bailey.
I'm Grace.
I'm Wally.
Let's give ourselves a round of applause.
Comment, share, like, what's the other one?
Subscribe.
Comment, share, subscribe, and above all, like. And we'll see you next time.
Very
Wow,
nice.
that was good. I like
It
that.
was.
Or we'll hear you next. No, they'll hear us now. I'll see you guys next time, but